good morning, everybody, all the supporters of social economy. Under today's GSEF virtual forum, the European Commission has been given this opportunity to present the European Social Economy Regions Initiative. That is one of our key instruments for interactive networking, community building, and I think that we all know that raising awareness about social economy, its benefits for society and economy as such, and community building is quite a challenge, and it's very important. And we think that this, our European example, could actually provide a very good inspiration and method also for a global reach out. I'm very pleased that we have today with us Ulla Engelmann, Head of Social Economy Unit at DG Growth of the European Commission, who will present us in more details our ESER story, how it all started, what are the key benefits and challenges. And then, of course, we have also our three excellent ESER partners from Torres Vedras municipality, from Kardica, and from Mayotte. I will present them in more details at the beginning of their individual interventions. Only very shortly on the scenario of today's workshop, so it will take 90 minutes, and you will have an opportunity to ask your questions on the chat box on the right side. We will be monitoring and collecting the questions, and also we will have the opportunity to ask your question directly. If you raise your hand, we will give you the floor after the individual interventions. I think that we have a very exciting session ahead of us, so I will stop here and I will give the floor directly to Ulla Engelmann. Ulla, please.
Thank you very much, Susanna, and also from my side, a very warm welcome to all of you. As Susanna said, I want to give you an overview of how it started, but also it may be even more important how it evolved, the European social economy regions. So the idea are based on what we discussed and discovered via our expert group, which is the GECES group, which have already done a recommendation report in 2016. We have a task force within the European Commission on social economy, and also on the discussions with the European Parliament Social Economy Intergroup. It became clear that social economy needs to improve visibility, recognition, and raise awareness at local and regional level. So with this fact that we need to do something, we felt also we need to do something pretty quickly. So it was not about waiting, going, let's say, the usual, we have an idea, we put it as a terms of reference and a contractor implements, and 3 years later, we would maybe start the project. Because we felt there's a pressing need to do so. And that's why we said, let's be much different, let's be entrepreneurial. And that's how we came about the European Social Economy Regions Initiative, which we launched in February 2018. And the aim was really to raise awareness of social economy at regional local level, and to help to build networks between the different regional and local social economy stakeholders. As I said, we wanted to do this quickly. That means we had no financial support planned for, and we needed to go gradually about it. And that's why we just launched a simple Twitter call, but also the replies were then pretty simple, because one pager was enough, but you needed to link between social economy stakeholders and local or regional authorities. And the added value was then that we from European level were also coming to your events and adding the European dimension. And then we wanted to bring everybody together who had organized this kind of event. And we were, I must also say, very positively surprised by the first feedback we got, because for us it was also a test. It could have been that nobody replies to our Twitter and email request, and we were there with an idea which was nice, but nobody needed it. But no, we got quite a lot of feedback and a lot of participation, and that's why we then continued with it. And here you have an overview, just a word cloud with different topics which were dealt with in the different ESER meetings we had between 2018 and 2020, because we then did it for 3 years. So the idea was really, in the beginning, phase 1, 2018, there were the different local initiatives, and everybody on their own hooked up to the local authority. So, which is a beginning. But then, when we had already at the end of 2018, where we brought together these little dots, they started to talk to each other. They realized they have a lot in common, and they started to connect a bit with each other. This is what we call the community building. But now in phase 3, because also in the meantime we had time to ask for budget to foster our ideas, we could support this with more substantive partnerships. So I think we really have here a very nice way how the community building goes, and the fact that today, from this being a single initiative, you reached out and managed to connect with each other and go in what we call the social economy missions. Just to give you a bit of statistics, so when we started in 2018, the first pioneers, we had 32 partners. And here I also want to mention, we got help from REVS, which is a network connecting, because you cannot do these things. You have to have partners. You build on what exists, and with them they helped us to reach out. And since then, they were always a privileged partner for us to work with, and they helped us to shape this initiative. So in 2019, we had then more than 50, and in 2020, more than 80 partners. But that in total, we have generated more than 100 regional and local partnerships, which, and that's also what Susanna said, which could then be a recipe. This worked on European level, and you will see our partners really come from very different areas. But I think that also, this is where innovation comes in, because if you bring together people from very different areas, you can inspire yourself, and you see it works there. And if I transform this a bit from my reality, you have, it's not only social innovation, it can be quite, it can also be technical innovations. So with this, what we have now as spin-offs, or also as direct follow-up, as I said, we have managed to find money to do social economy missions, which are where we really ask for partnerships under topics, but topics which the ESER community has identified. It was not up sitting somewhere in an ivory tower thinking, what could the stakeholders want? No, it was co-creation. We really asked you, the community, what do you need? Based on this, we had then a very good list of what should we tackle. And we were overwhelmed by the feedback we got as numbers who applied to the social economy mission, that showed again that is something the sector needs. In order to help you to connect even better, we have also now this social economy community collaborative website. But also, we want to, of course, give you a prominent place in what we are organizing, the European Social Economy Summit, which takes place as a hybrid meeting in Mannheim in May 21. It was supposed to happen in November, but also there, due to like everybody going digital, we are now having a digital road to Mannheim. But within there, the ESER community in this summit has a very strong role to play. And another very important area is a social economy canvas, because also there we realized working with the ESER community and beyond is something, how can we use the business model like a canvas in order to help you to structure better and to also look at, particularly for the digital and green transition, how can you use the canvas methodologies. So I have already mentioned these social economy missions. So the rules were that at least 3 different, we call it COSME because it's our cooperation program for SMEs, regions and municipalities from 3 different countries have to get together, and then they should have an exchange of views. And so we have 19 winning consortia from 27 COSME countries, and we start implementation in 2021. And we are very curious to see what will come out of there, looking at the results. But I think you see the Reachout, and I think it's a very impressive result. Here is also an overview and a link to this collaborative website, which I have mentioned. This was, of course, particularly important during the COVID time, or is still very important during this COVID times, where we are more virtual than ever. So therefore, I really encourage you, it is for you, use it, but use it in a sense, be interactive. It is not only to look at, but make it your tool. It's for all of us. And I have mentioned the digital road to Mannheim with the next event coming up towards the end of the month, and having regular meetings. Also there we have put down for you the website, and the slides will be made available for you. And we also, because we believe very much in the innovative power of social economy, we have what we call social economy diaries, where we collect social economy stories and experiences in order to then bring together a kind of a mapping, but stories with a purpose. Because we all know you can show a lot of figures, you can show a lot of let's say facts, but when you can tell inspiring stories, that's what convinces others, and particularly policymakers. So we want to publish then for this social economy summit in Mannheim, and you, the ESER community, this is for me a very inspiring story. So I would encourage all of you to be part of it, because you have proved that you were, let's say, more visionary, because you are part of this community, and therefore I think this is something which should be mentioned. So I stop here, but I'm available together with Susanna, of course, for further questions later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ulla, for your presentation. And just to complement what you said, if you are interested to know more about social economy canvas and social economy diaries, we will be running a dedicated session next week on 29th of October during the virtual Road to Mannheim October session. So you can subscribe via the official website of the Social Economy Summit in Mannheim, and you can join us so that we will provide more detailed information, and you will be also able to make this Social Economy Diaries exercise online with our assistance. So I think that this is also an important information. And yeah, so if you have a special concrete question to ask Ulla, of course you can either raise your hand or you can place your question in the chat box. I'm just trying to check now if there is something, but maybe I will use this opportunity, Ulla, because now, of course, we will hear these interesting ESER stories from our ESER partners. But what could be also interesting for participants of today's session to hear that what these networkings and these, let's say, partnerships at regional and local level, what it brings to us, let's say, policy makers or policy unit at DG Grow, what is the benefit, what is the added value for us? So this could be something what could be interesting to see in more details, this I would say internal kitchen, how we work with this excellent unit network. Thank you.
Do you want me now to reply to this?
Yes, I would say now, okay. And then yes, we will.
Okay. Yeah, because I think also what I said before, being the policymakers, for us it is important to be connected to the ground, meaning we need to know what is happening, because we are working on policies, and we need to know whether our policies reach you, because there is often, unfortunately, also let's say we hear that European Commission is too far from the stakeholders, and I think ESER is an example that shows it goes also differently. We really want to be close to you, to the community, to know not exactly, but to know what can we do, but also to get feedback. For example, if there are policy initiatives which are not useful, we also need to know this. We need to know your needs. It's not good enough just to know we need more money. Okay, yeah, but how and why do you not can access the money? This kind of questions. And I think ESER is a perfect feedback tool for us, because as we are in discussion, we learn so much. And I must also say, as we went to this meeting and engaged there, it was also, let's say, morale boosting, because we could engage with you, and for both sides, it was a very positive experience, because it was about real co-creation. And this is modern policy making, needs to be fact-based, but also needs to be based on the contact with the stakeholder. And stakeholder engagement nowadays is not only to launch a consultation and get some feedback, which we also need, but another element is to have the contact to the community, to be anchored with you, meaning a dialogue is extremely important. And fostering this dialogue, getting the feedback, and also the examples we will hear today, they are so inspiring for us, and that helps us then to put it into our policy making, but it also helps us within the Commission when we talk with our colleagues, because social economy goes across so many fields. It is not linked to one policy area. So you help us also when we talk to other colleagues with your stories, and that's why also what Susanna said with the Social Economy Diaries, it is so important to have these stories at hand to convince others, because let's be honest, social economy still needs a lot of attention and awareness raising, and that's why ESER was a right step to do. And I think that's why I would also be very interested to find ways how we can promote this ESER methodology even further. Meaning, for me, this is something which is not only in Europe, which can also be done in other parts of the world, and would be useful for other policymakers too. And we are more than willing to share and work further on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ulla. In the meantime, I can see that we have some questions in the chat box. Laurence Quark is asking whether there will be a space during the 2021 European Social Economy Summit in Mannheim to learn and to network more about the ESER initiative, including with local and regional policymakers and stakeholders.
Yes, this is definitely, because for us, ESER is one of the big flagships. And that's why we want to have ESER very prominent in this European Social Economy Summit. And to be honest, it's quite easy, because I'm the chair of the organization committee. And so it's not a secret then to tell you that I think ESER should have a big place there, because it's a good example. And as this will then also lead us to the Social Economy Action Plan of the European Commission, your experience will also directly flow into these discussions.
Indeed. Thank you, Ulla. Then we have some request from Hakim from Libya. Ulla, can you please send your email contact? We would like to join with a presentation of social economy dialogue in Libya and the upcoming summit in Mannheim. Yeah, so I think that on this request we will follow up after this session. So this is very good. Modern policymaking comment from Jamila. Yeah. So yeah, these are all these comments that I think that we don't need to further clarify. Okay, so if there is another question, if you would like to ask, you can still do it, of course, and also later on. And if it is not the case for the moment, well, maybe we will move on. Thank you very much for your presentation, Ulla. And now we will move on. We will move to virtually to Torres Vedras municipality. I would like to welcome among us Ana Umbelino, Councillor of the Torres Vedras municipality in Portugal and rapporteur of the working group on social economic cluster under GECE's expert group. Torres Vedras municipality is an active member of our ESER community. The social economy activities of Torres Vedras are focused on social impact of regional social economy organizations, inclusive employment, entrepreneurship, social innovation, and much more. So I think that now it's time to give the floor to Anna to share with us the Torres Vedras municipality ESER journey and story and your experiences. Anna, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I would like to thank Ulla and Susanna for bringing the voices of ESER community to this session. As it was mentioned, I'm a councillor in Torres Vedras, and this municipality recognizes for a long time ago the relevance of social economy among its strategic agenda for territorial development. The opportunity to host an ESER event was seen as a coherent and meaningful action within the trajectory that we have been pursuing, and also as a challenge, a timely moment to go collectively one step forward in addressing new questions and co-constructing new solutions. The ESER program was designed in a participatory bottom-up fashion by collecting contributions from local social development council members in an attempt to respond to concrete demands and meet real expectations. We decided to submit an application to ESER because we recognize ourselves in its framework of principles and values. Also, as European citizens, we truly believe that we have the ethical duty to contribute to the achievement of common European objectives and for the sustainable development goals of United Nations. Behind that, we gathered evidences of ESER's positive externalities from our partners in REVS, the European Network of Cities and Regions for the Social Economy. We actually aim to create not only a forum or a scientific event, but also a social and cultural momentum with a significant mediatic reverberation that could ascribe these topics in the public space by turning them mainstream. The initiative had a celebration feature that is indisputably relevant in order to reinforce local and regional belonging, but also to bring a cosmopolitan dimension that could expand the learning opportunities and broader visions and perspectives. These are, we believe, vibrant moments that trigger creative change and project new demanding collective horizons. So we thought it would be interesting to maximize the impact of ESER by conceiving a pre-event and a parallel event that would be at some point intersected by shared moments. The pre-event aimed to create a link between our local social economy organizations and members of REV's network from different geographies and latitudes, since we intentionally hosted 2 days before the annual board meeting. The idea was so to create a roadmap with field visits to innovative projects that have been implemented in our municipality in order to enhance cross-border learning opportunities. In our local viewpoint, it represented a chance to gather renewed perspectives to our projects, raise new questions and test them, to open new avenues for improvements and potential partnerships that could add new layers and value. We then focused on PSI, an innovative territorialized ecosystem that crosses the city council, 12 districts and 13 social economy organizations, and also some SMEs, namely local producers from different sectors. It is an alternative to mainstream school food supply system purchased by multinational traditional companies that used to win the municipality public tenders thanks to a low price policy. By making a gesture of resistance, we built an alternative model. In fact, it embodies a grassroots cluster that rests on the following essential pillars. The first one is production, obviously. The second refers to the acquisition through public procurement. And in order to purchase goods and services from local producers and suppliers, we designed a set of specific criteria, such as the freshness of the products measured by the time spent in transportation in order to reach environmental goals. The preparation and deliverance of school meals is assured by 13 social economy organizations spread throughout the territory. This multi-level, multi-stakeholder network incorporates in itself an attempt to create an innovative model of food governance that generates locally anchored economic dynamics within different impacts. Here, I would like just to highlight the environmental and social ones in the creation of jobs, employing citizens from small villages, mostly rural areas that face depopulation and are in a vulnerable condition. REV board members were able to have a flavor of all the different phases of the process by establishing a direct dialogue with the intervenients from the public and social economy fields, and the visits opened new dialogue channels, which contributed to the dissemination of this program as a whole and the public procurement mechanisms and instruments in particular. Capacity building for strengthening social economy ecosystem is, as you know, a critical and endless endeavor. The municipality developed a partnership with a cooperative supported by several local social economy organizations and implemented a methodology of social impact management and assessment that comprises several different steps like prototyping. A community of practice has been created by allowing social economy organizations to reflect about their practices of management and strategic development, taking into account their core values and principles. Simultaneously, an important data hub was shared. So we thought it would be interesting to create a parallel event to ESER that could give expression to the ongoing work and once again maximizing synergies. So we implemented the social impact forum, a space for debates and sharing of good practices, methodologies, and assessment of social impacts. It was also a space to give public visibility to the work developed by the social impact community, which gathered participants from local and regional organizations. The Social Impact Forum started with a communication from Alexandru Hancati about social economy canvas that was mentioned before by Ulla, a sense-making framework to support social economy, which later promoted a workshop entitled Testing the Social Economy Canvas, where some social economy local entities which integrated the social impact community tested the proposed model, and others had the possibility to participate as observers. The workshop brought together 5 entrepreneurs representing local social economy organizations that develop social businesses, who had the opportunity to apply the Canvas model and exercise their skills. The participating organizations and those that attended benefited mutually from the shared knowledge. The cooperative, which is called For Change, and the social impact territory established afterwards contact with the expert and researcher Alexandru Hancati and are currently applying the model. 83 citizens from Portugal, Spain, Italy, Belgium, and Sweden, including deputies, civil servants, entrepreneurs, academics, students, participate in the ESER event, in which important policies for the promotion of social economy were presented by the European Commission, as well as information about examples of experiences in the area developed abroad, mainly in Catalonia and in Örebro County in Sweden and also Portugal. It was an important opportunity for local stakeholders to build know-how and to become inspired by the projects presented. Between sessions and among the social program activities, which included some lunch, dinner, and artistic performances, several organizations exchanged visions, opinions, and directions. All those fruitful contacts encouraged the establishment of partnerships. This is illustrated by our participation in the project entitled Competence Sharing in Social Responsible Procurement, which intends to organize a series of social economy missions to support the launch of an open platform of socially responsible public procurement practices in 6 European Union countries. This project is managed by the European Agency for Small and Medium Enterprises under the COSME program, which was already alluded by Ulla. ESER fostered the development of a more acute consciousness concerning new collective demands and challenges. One suggestion that emerged from this encounter was to gather data which could provide a snapshot of the local ecosystem of the social economy to allow comparative analysis. Taking into account the importance of data, which could enhance territorial intelligence and creativity, the municipality, in partnership with the local Social Economy Studies Center, elaborated the first Atlas of Social Economy. Here we find just a picture of the results. Obviously, I will not point the results, just the general idea and the methodology. We have results that depict our local reality, starting with the ecosystem composition. We follow with the most frequent type of services, and we find interesting trends that indicate the social economy externalities in the integration, for instance, of women and vulnerable groups in the labor markets, and the sector commitment to solving the real problems of the community and the relevance of social economy for the local markets, not only in economical terms, but also in ecological ones, taking into account the shorter procurement circuits of products and goods that represent a decrease in the carbon footprint. And finally, a broad and ambitious agenda pointed by the sector players that requires coordinated action and effective answers. This was actually a concrete outcome triggered by ESER, and the methodology is being implemented in other municipalities in the region. Finally, an emerging ecosystem is being co-constructed in a disadvantaged area of our city around a former abandoned slaughterhouse that we can see in these pictures. Civil society, social economy organizations, and the city council have defined a master plan that is broken down into several different components. This includes, in terms of infrastructure, an arts and creative center and a social innovation incubator, whose concept and program brings together the participation of social economy organizations. The contributions we have drawn from the webinars recently promoted by ESER and the research and subsequent contacts were very valuable, I must say, and the networks and transversal learning are undoubtedly precious assets. So to sum up, ESER shows for us the transforming power of collaboration and co-creation, and we are committed to keep its flame alive. Thank you very much.
Well, this is absolutely great. Thank you very much, Anna, for making this presentation. And I think that this is an absolutely model case how to build really a working operational ecosystem, social economy and proximity ecosystem with all the players. It's not only about networking, but really how to join different initiatives, models, how to maybe even upgrade social economy as such. So I think that this was very interesting. I can see that Jamila would like to ask a question. Jamila?
Yes, can you hear me? Yeah? Okay, great. Thank you so much, Anna, for your beautiful presentation. Yes, let's keep the flame alive. That's why we are all here. I had two questions about the Atlas of Social Economy. Was it only focused on Torres Vedras, or was it like in general in Portugal? And then my second question is about the incubator, because we are also having one here. Well, this is not more a question, but a comment, but I would be very interested to learn more, and see how you guys have adapted, because we are having the same volume of social enterprises. So it could be interesting to have a return on experience from you.
Okay. In what concerns to the first question, the Atlas was focused only in the municipality boundaries. Nevertheless, in Portugal, we have the satellite account, which is a very important source of data that allows us to compare some data that is focused locally with national data. So I think that it's very, very important for the countries to develop the social, the satellite accounts. In our municipality, this atlas has several indicators, and our aim is obviously to monitor the evolution of these indicators throughout time. Otherwise, we are not able to see the effects of our public policies. So for us, this is a very important source of data. In what concerns to the incubator, we are now doing an application to a national program that will allow us to develop a program that is specific focused on mental illness. We want to create and to stimulate the development of projects and initiatives that may impact in that specific area. So we'll be very interested in connect with you and perhaps have a chat, a meeting, and show the paths that we have been pursuing. Yes.
Okay. Anna, there is a question whether this atlas is publicly accessible.
Yes, the atlas is accessible. Unfortunately, it is not in English. I only picked some indicators and translate it. But if you are interested, I can do like a summary and send. So it's a matter of I would say just a few days, and I can do a translation and send, because it is actually in Portuguese. Yes.
Okay, I think that I can see some comments in the chat box that this would be very appreciated. So yeah. So okay, so thank you very much.
There is a commitment with a lot of witnesses. I can do like a sum up of the atlas and translate the indicators to English and send to Susanna, and then she can spread.
Yeah, we will definitely disseminate this. Thank you. There is a question. Is it possible to share the presentation? Yeah, I think after this this workshop we will share all the presentations. So definitely. Okay, so I think that if there are no other questions, we will now move slowly to Kardica. Anna, thank you very much for your excellent presentation. Of course, maybe after all these three presentations, there will be some other questions. So we will monitor it, and then if needed, we will come back to you. Thank you very much. And now we are moving virtually to Kardica, because we have today with us Vasileos Belis, who is the Director General of the Development Agency of Kardica in Greece. Kardica has built an effective local ecosystem for the social economy based on collaboration between the development agency, the cooperative bank, and a range of social enterprises in agriculture, development, and inclusion. Vasileos is our very active member, always contributing to all the activities and initiatives that we organize. So I think that now we are ready for you, Vasileos, and for your ESER story, please.
Thank you for your invitation to participate in this very interesting conference. I will share my screen now. Good morning, everybody. I will present our story, let's say, about our development agency and its relation with local authorities and with the local ecosystem of collaboration. Actually, the development agency of Kardica established in 1989 by the local authorities. So it is an agency of local authorities. It is focused on social interest, and it is market and project oriented. So we run projects like CLFD, it is a rural development program, like STIA, it is a program of accommodation and migration of refugees hosted in apartments. Another project, a current project, is AgroChains. It is the support of the creation of a biomass supply chain, and we support it. We, in cooperation with an energy cooperative established and hosted in our incubator. And another project is YES. It is focused on the employment of young people in employment educational training. And we try to develop their digital skills, let's say. Except the projects we run, we organize local initiatives based on local sources and the resources, like the incubator of collective initiatives, like the support we offer to local ecosystem of collaboration, like the social financing in cooperation with the cooperative bank, like the information dissemination to the local population, or like the promotion of the entrepreneurial spirit, the social entrepreneurial spirit, as well as the entrepreneurial spirit, generally speaking. About the, I will focus my presentation on the our incubator, the collaboration incubator. What is it and why we established it? Its establishment is aiming at the support and hosting of any innovative initiative locally developed. And its purpose is to help the new initiatives to eliminate their startup cost, because it is a big obstacle for a new initiative. And another purpose was to cope with the bad reputation the old-fashioned cooperatives had. So this establishment of this incubator was a mandate of local authorities in order to support the social innovation locally. So it began, this initiative, this local initiative began from our establishment. Our first experiments, let's say, were some women cooperatives, a center for disabled people, a specialized center to offer services to women, some Roma centers, and so on. But our biggest initiative and the most risky, let's say, was the establishing of a credit cooperative. It hosted in our premises for 2 years, from 1994 to 1996. We supported 1,100 citizens to inscribe in this credit cooperative. And 2 years after, this credit cooperative received the license to be transformed in a cooperative bank. And this cooperative bank played a very significant role in the development of our area. Now is a shareholder of us, and I will tell more about this cooperative bank later. We organize a lot of efforts here. Cooperative bank is now one of the main pillars supporting our local ecosystem of social economy. Currently, we host in our premises an energy cooperative, 2 farmer cooperatives, 2 refugees associations, 1 Roma non-profit agency, 2 producer associations, 1 financial tool in favor of social economy, and we support the networking of organizations belonging to the local ecosystem of collaboration. I will try to give an idea, an image of what the local ecosystem of collaboration is. It was established gradually after the collapse of the powerful union of farmers cooperatives, and now has several members, not only farmer cooperatives. There are 12 farmer cooperatives in the local ecosystem, but there are also 3 civic cooperatives, 1 energy community, 2 forest cooperatives, 3 social cooperatives, 5 non-for-profit agencies, 6 associations, 1 union of associations based in villages, and other unofficial groups. There is an ongoing process to establish an official legal status of this network, but it has some problems, some obstacles due to the Greek legislative system. Generally speaking, the collaborative ecosystem is well known all over Greece. It is the object of documentaries and TV broadcasts. It is an example. It is a paradigm for the social economy all over Greece. It is a basic element of the prefecture's identity. Universities and other research centers carry out case studies and researches about this social phenomenon. And many groups of citizens are visiting us or members of this ecosystem in order to exchange ideas, to learn about their experiences. I will give some figures. More than 11,000 of citizens are participating in enterprises of social economy. The prefecture of our the population of our prefecture is 130,000 people. So the 10% roughly of our population belongs to enterprises of social economy. They are subscribed in them. More than 5,000 citizens participate in more than 200 local associations, acting mainly in villages, in rural areas. The permanent employees of these organizations, of the belonging to the local ecosystem, is 105. The seasonal employees are more than 60 or 70. It depends on the year. And the total turnover of these organizations are more than 65 million euros, and it is the 6% of the local GDP. It is 4 times over the national mean value. Of course, there is a big social impact, a great social impact of these activities of the local organizations, social organizations. And now, why the local collaboration ecosystem joined the European social economy regions? Why we joined to this network? First of all, the cooperation is a tradition in our prefecture, and Karditsa is a cutting point of European networks. For example, the municipality of Karditsa is the pioneer in the sustainable mobility. It is known as the city of bicycles. The cooperative bank is a member of FEBA. FEBA is the Fédération Européenne pour Banque Éthique et Alternative, and the managing director of the cooperative bank is belonging to the governing board. The energy cooperative is member of PESCO, and the development agency was member of GECES, and we joined, of course, to the ESER network. Why? Because the ESER network is the meeting point of innovative regions active on social economy, and it is very valuable for us. What was the impact to our activities? We joined on 1918 to this network, and a local event was organized on 5th of May of 2018 with the participation of European Commission representative. The aim was to discuss how we can transfer and integrate at a regional level all the existing know-how on participatory planning. And this event was a beginning point to emphasize the role of social economy organizations in the strategic and participatory planning with innovative structures, strategies, and tools. It aimed us to support a common vision and the identity of our region, especially focused in social economy. It helped us to attract the engagement of local population, promoting and mobilizing local resources, and it helped us to begin the planning and the effective organization of sustainable value chains like the biomass, like other local resources. through this participation to the ESER network, we attracted researchers from universities and research institutes, members of the local social economy ecosystem, regional, national, and European social economy and civil society organizations, representatives of EU bodies developing social economy policies, local and regional authorities and professional bodies, to participate in the planning process of activities and actions through which social economy would be an integral part of the local development. This was some points of the impact of the participation of our participation in the ESER network. Thank you for your attention. I am at your disposal for questions about our local efforts focusing on the local ecosystem.
Thank you very much, Vassilios. Very interesting indeed. Thank you for this excellent presentation. So I think that, again, here we could see very nicely how ESER, and I would say this active networks, how they can also contribute to boost new processes, I would say at regional and local level. They could further boost social innovation, further collaboration, etc. So I think that this is really quite an added value of such active networking. I'm checking if there is a concrete question on you, Vassilios, but maybe in the meantime, I would ask you, since you are really one of the piloting, I would say, partner of our ESER network, I would say after this 3 years experience in ESER, is there something particular, I would say, I don't know, a concrete dimension or something you think should be developed further? What could help you even more to benefit from this European networking? Is there anything particular? What do you think could be further developed?
Yes, I think that we would like to transform our work and our initiative from an amateur point of view into more professional. I liked very much the presentation of Anna, and as a matter of fact, we need a system to measure in a concrete base our impact to local productive system and the contribution of the social economy branch of it to the total economic activities and social activities here in Greece. I think we need more concrete indexes, let's say, to have a system of measurement and an impact estimation. Of course, I know that ESER and you, Anna, and your colleagues are participating in an effort to have tools in this direction. And we would like to participate in a training course or an exchange program in operation, in a network, to exchange ideas, to exchange experience, how to measure our impact here. Not the impact of our agency, but generally speaking, the impact of the ecosystem of collaboration as a total. I think that this is a need for our effort here, our initiative here.
Thank you, Vasileos. This is very useful because now we are also starting discussion on the future of ESER. Of course, we will have 2021 edition, and then we will also have the ESER concluding event in early in December. So I think that we could then also elaborate more on this your intervention. It was very, very useful. I can see there is a question in the chat box from Christian. Really interesting presentation. May I ask you, have you managed to process to get from a local development to a regional development of the strategy? Was it integrated with the regional smart specialization strategy, if provided?
Yeah. We participated actively in the RIS3 process, and we had a very tight cooperation with the regional authority and the institution for the innovation, let's say, established especially from the regional authority for the support of RIS3 strategy. Speaking more special, we were responsible for the food sector coordination, let's say. The prefecture of Karditsa is one of the 4 prefectures of region of Thessaly. We work locally, but of course we have in mind to cooperate with with other organizations, big organizations in regional level, like universities, like technological institutions, and so on. As a matter of fact, the regional authority is a shareholder of us, so we have the mandate to cooperate with other regional authorities. So the answer is yes. We try to include our local strategy in the regional strategy, and especially to include it in the RIS3 strategy.
Thank you very much, Vasileos. And yeah, I think that I don't see any concrete issue, just some thank you messages. Of course, thank you for interesting and informative experience and presentation you shared. So as just to repeat that we will share all the presentations after this workshop. So thank you very much for the moment, Vasileos, for this interesting presentation. And now we are moving to our last speaker today, our very active ESER member. And actually we are moving virtually to one of the overseas departments and regions, to Mayotte. And I'm very happy to welcome among us Jamila Hassani, who is a coordinator for social and solidarity economy at CRESH Mayotte. Jamila is our key point and liaison for presenting also EU policies in social economy in Mayotte, and she takes very active part in all ESER events, initiatives, and most of the projects. And I'm sure that in her intervention, she will share with us what are the key benefits for Mayotte to be part of this European network, and how it helps to initiate new regional and interregional partnerships. Jamila, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Zuzana. I just would like to check if everybody can hear me, because I had an internet problem while Vasileos was doing his presentation.
Yes.
Yes? Oh, okay, because it was, I'm hearing some sounds in the background. So, well, thank you so much, first of all, for having us here. I really would like to thank ESER and the GSEF for creating such spaces and opportunities, of course. It's always a great way for us to be able to share our best practices and bring the voice of social economy here in Mayotte. So I am very glad to be with you today. And what I would like to say is that ESER has been a way to open opportunities for social economy here in Mayotte. So this is going to be a little bit like the guideline for the whole presentation. And just like each presentation, there's always a menu, you know, and today it's going to be a 3-course type of menu. where in the first place, I'm going to introduce to you the social economy results that we are having here in Mayotte. Then I'm going to give you a little bit more of a background on how did it all started with ESER and what are the main opportunities that came out of it. So, social economy in Mayotte. First of all, it's quite important. I know that some of you know us already, Vasileos, Susanna. I know that we've met quite a couple of times, and Benjamin as well. But it's quite important to say again where we are located. So we are in the Mozambique Channel in the Indian Ocean. We are located between Madagascar and Africa. And this gives us a very strategic point in the Indian Ocean. So it's quite important to remember that. We are a French overseas department since 2011, and we became a European outermost region in 2014. These are two information that are very important to bear in mind, because it means that as an overseas country, as a European outermost region, it has taken time for us to kind of follow the European regulations and the French regulations. But as each problem, we try to transform it into an opportunity, but I will come back to that a little bit later in my presentation. So a few facts. Just like any African country or territory that has an African background, social economy has always been part of our DNA, and I am sure that members from the G7 have maybe seen it in such certain speeches from African countries. And today we were able to give it a modern translation, I can say. This is why here in Mayotte, for instance, 40% of Mahoran enterprises are from social economy, and they are generating 23% of the private employment on the island. It is quite important, especially when we know that we're involving in an environment that has 35% of unemployment rate, 42% among women, and 53% among younger generation, which is huge. And on top of that, we are also having a very high percentage of people living on the poverty line. But very, very good news this year, social economy, the jobs that were generated by our social enterprises was able to decrease that number. It has decreased from 7 points, which means that it has gone from 84% to 77%. This is some very, very good news, because we are really seeing the work that is being done on the ground. And but how did we manage to do all that? Well, with tools and strategies, of course. Like I said before, Mayotte is a French overseas department and a European outermost region. So it means that we're able to benefit from an ecosystem that was really positive to be able to enhance a new energy for social economy. For instance, we're having a regional strategy that was able to sustain and strengthen our social and solidarity economy ecosystem. For instance, thanks to that, we were able to create a financial aid up to 6 million euros for our social enterprises, which is huge, and the regional council has supported us through that. Then we created as well a social incubator to support social innovation on the island. And thanks to their support, 382 jobs were able to be created since 2017. It seems quite a small number, but for us, it's actually really huge considering our environment. And of course, all of that was supported with a very, very strong awareness campaign that we have made by using very concrete tools for any type of public. So now that brings me, now that you have a little bit of a snapshot of what social economy is here in Mayotte. So how did it all started with ESER? Well, it's quite funny, just where we are at today. Like, especially like the same month, 2 years ago, we were in Bilbao at the G7, launching the first European social economy region participatory workshop. I remember I was so excited to see all people from all around the country. But what's really important is that, of course, I met Susanna, of course, I met Ulla, and I'm forever thankful for the opportunity. But I also met Susanna, which is the representative for Aruba. And we started discussing, of course, we're both islands, and of course, we discussed about seashells and all that. But that was not the most interesting. The most interesting is that, hey, come on, we are sharing so many things in common, because we are remoted from our mainland, and we are both claimed, by some territories. Mayotte is claimed by the Comoros, and Aruba used to be claimed by Venezuela as well. There's something maybe that we could start to do here. But what's more specific also on that day is that we were able to present our local initiative, which was how we launched our first social economy hub in a remote village. And this has been like the best practice that we shared during that initiative as well. And we also participated, of course, to the second edition of this. It was last year in Brussels, and it has allowed us to connect with Germany, Silicon style. I think, Ulla, you participated to their ESER event, and we also worked with them. So this was one of the positive outcomes that came out of it. But what's next, actually? The most important work is actually to work with these two partners who are Greenland and Aruba. It may seem quite of an extreme example. Why Greenland, you know, the largest island and extremely cold, would like to cooperate with such hot territories, you know? Well, we were better than Donald Trump. We were trying to get Greenland on board with us. I always like to make the joke, because we are also sharing common things, which are that we're living far away from our mainland, and Greenland is also claimed by Donald Trump, actually. So this was the base of our work. So what have we done so far after meeting at ESER? Well, we participated to the European Social Economy Summit, which would have never been possible if ESER did not showcase the event, explain what are the opportunities that would come out of that. So we were able to moderate a 90-minute workshop. There were several objectives. It was, first of all, to raise awareness about overseas regions and overseas countries and territories, but we did not want, you know, to be only community-based and closed only into ourselves. We are already remoted enough like that, you know. We are more in a dynamic to open up. So the idea was to really learn from other regions. And thanks to that, we were able to create two meaningful relationships that we are actually starting to see if there are projects that we could work together, or if they could assist us in certain projects where they are having a return on experience that we could replicate here, adapted to our local environment, of course. So then after, we are going to host another local ESER event for this year. It's going to be on the 4th of November, 2020. You guys are more than welcome. I would love to see you all. If you want, I can share the link later on. Of course, it's not going to be such a local event because we all know that the COVID-19 is still ongoing, but we believe that there's going to be another time. And the idea is to really share best practices from Mayotte, Aruba, and Greenland with showcasing really concrete example. We would like to have social entrepreneurs taking the floor, opening the voices for them, so they can be able to share their stories, where they are coming from, and all of that is going to be during the month of social economy. So this is the work that we are going to do with Mayotte, Aruba, and Greenland. And what about our perspectives? Because we need some. A post-COVID world is going to exist. We are for sure convinced about that, even if right now I know it doesn't seem like it. But we would like to manage to organize on-site visits, of course, because it's really good to speak virtually, but we need to meet and to learn from each other and see the territories, to meet the people. And also we would like to reinforce our exchanges of best practices by creating more targeted online workshops, because for now it was just general, and we would like to create more targeted workshops. And of course, we would like to support the development of a social economy ecosystem. How we are going to do it in a very concrete way is that here in Mayotte, we have developed some best practices, the social incubator, we are having the social clauses that are working really well. So we need to see what are the needs of Aruba and Greenland and how we could assist them, and see if we are having some technical issues that we've developed that could benefit them. As an example, just these small exchanges that we've had with Aruba and Greenland, it was possible for Greenland to be able to support one of their social enterprise, and Mayotte is going to assist them into doing so. So it is really great, and we are very happy about that. So what can I say about ESER? What can I say about all these spaces? Is just, I really hope that we are going to keep on connecting. We really believe in the power of community, because ESER has given us that opportunity. But it's not only community for economic reasons. Of course, we have to think of how we're going to create jobs and all that. But for Mayotte, it's also to give back dignity to people and to open up voices for people who have been like really close for a very, very long time, and has been an opportunity to open up to the world. So thank you so much, ESER, and thank you so much to the GCEF for hosting this event today and allowing people from our community and from overseas regions and territories to find their way. So thank you so much, and this is going to be the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Jamila. Very, very exciting and interesting. Excellent, as always. Yeah, I think that this was another example on how we can just see in practice what at the beginning Ulla explained, that how this isolated dots at the beginning of our, let's say, piloting regions, how they developed into this, let's say, inter-regional collaboration, going more in depth and to have some more common projects and initiatives also between different regions and parts of Europe. I think it's also now very clear that it is virtual sessions are super, but I think that it's also important to have some physical meetings and exchange of views. So we just strongly hope that it will be possible next year during the European Social Economy Summit in Mannheim. Let's see, but let's stay very, very positive and optimistic about this. I'm just checking, Jamila, if there is a question or comments to your presentation. I can see from Lawrence. Thank you a lot, Jamila, for your very energizing contribution. It is so great to learn how you have become a driver.
It's even more.
It is so great to learn how you have become a driver of social economy regional movement in Mayotte since 2018 Bilbao Forum. I would love to see many more participants of this GCEF virtual forum could listen to you and to be inspired, and please share your stories, yeah, of course. Then we have from Anna from Torres Vedras. Thank you for very interesting presentation that expresses a sustainable and strategic agenda. I would like to know more about the elaboration of the regional strategy, the governance model, the financial model, assessment, and the engagement of the different players. So I don't know if you want to come. This was to everybody, but if you want Jamila to comment on this, you are more than welcome.
Oh, sure. Maybe I can just give a return on experience. Like I said before, oftentimes overseas countries and territories are very remote from the mainland, and it's really hard to keep up with the new regulations. However, there is a very strong opportunity is that so many public policies still don't exist here, but there are some opportunities to create them. So that's how we actually decided to create our regional strategy with our regional council, because according to the law, there is a law, a French law, the Loi Notre, which specifies that the regional council has to create basically the Bible for the development of the economy in Mayotte for the next 6 years. And we decided to work along with them to tell them, hey, come on, social economy is part of our DNA. Now we are having an opportunity to give it a modern touch. How about we introduce it, into that regional strategy? And there was, of course, a lot of awareness work that had to be done with that. It has taken us almost a year to be able to do so. But then we finally won, because there are 26 actions out of 34 actions from that regional strategy that is concerned with social economy. And it goes from reduction waste to how to insert social clauses, how to support women, social entrepreneurs, because we know that they are really suffering from high unemployment rate. So there's the financial aid that I was telling you, up to 6 million euros, which is really going to help our social enterprises. So that's how we basically did in order to have that regional strategy. So now we are just implementing it on the ground. We are having already certain results with some partners. For instance, there is a cooperative that we supported, which is doing compressed mud bricks or compressed earth bricks, depends on how each person is saying. And this is really great because it has been a way to bring a traditional know-how into an economic market and in developing a certain sector as well. So there are 8 cooperators around the island that decide to come together in order to create these compressed mud bricks and to build houses for the Mahoran people. So that's one of the concrete examples. I hope that responds to the question. Please do not hesitate to ask me to be more specific if necessary.
Thank you very much, Jamila. I can see just some thank you messages. This is very good.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'm just checking the time because I think that we are slowly coming to the end of this session. So if you have some last comments or questions, please don't hesitate, because now it's time. And if not, I just would like to repeat what I said also at the beginning, that next week during the virtual October Digital Road to Mannheim, we will have a dedicated presentation on social economy canvas, on social economy diaries. So if you are interested, please join these sessions and you can learn more. And yeah, I just hope that yes, Jamila, you wanted to take the floor?
I just have one question, since we are all together. I don't know if Ulla is still with us. Yes, she's still here. It was one question that I wanted to ask her before. It's just to know, how do you think all these partnerships are really going to influence the economy at a larger level, especially at a European level? Because I believe that if you decided to make these initiatives, there must be a reason why you believe that social enterprises or social economy initiatives can actually be the solution, especially now with the crisis and everything. So I'm really interested to know your insight about it. And I'm sure there is one. Ulla or Susanna, whoever.
Do you want me to come in, Susanna?
Oh, yes. I think that, yeah, this is a very good question. And I think, Jamila, that it was also very clear from our recently adopted recovery package that for us, let's say, this transformation towards this, I would say, green, digital and sustainable and resilient economic model and economy as such is now the priority. And I think that this goes absolutely hand in hand with social economy. I think that social economy as such can really provide a model in, let's say, in this process, because we all know that all the basic principles of social economy are targeting exactly this objective. So as you also know, we are now working within the European Commission on the targeted social economy action plan. We will definitely include the contribution also from ESER and from your valuable comments and opinions to this. And yeah, I think that this would be my first reaction on your question. I don't know if Ulla wants to add something.
I could add, it is very important what you said also in view of the crisis. I keep my camera off because I have bandwidth problems. It is very important to link what we call the recovery and resilience facility, because we now need to see how the national recovery plans will be constructed. And I think that it is very important that social economy finds its place in this national recovery plans. And the Commission has put let's say a proposal which was confirmed by the Council with a lot of money. And I think it is important to find the right place. And I think what we learned about the partnerships and the possibilities of ESER should be very used for these national recovery plans. But of course, this is handled at a national level. But that's why we think it is important to transfer the messages of what we learned from ESER to also the member state level. And that's why also what we call the digital road to Mannheim, we have a lot of discussion on the recovery process, because I think it is very important to link this experience to the recovery and resilience facility. And if we look at the fact of the networking is part of the reinforces the resilience of a region or a local entity. So I think this is something we need to take into consideration for this, what we call RRF, the Resilience and Recovery Facility. And we have also managed to have social economy, proximity and social economy to be one of the 14 industrial ecosystems for the recovery. So these activities there will then also play a key role in the recovery.
I don't know, Ulla, I don't know. I think that now we are losing you a bit. So there is something with the connection. Anyway, I think almost everything has been explained. I don't know, Jamila, whether this is sufficient for you or you would have some additional.
Yes, of course. It was great because actually I discovered more about ESER and really understood where was the background, and even the way the initiative grew is so like social economy. You know, it just started from the grassroots. So this is why I was wondering, but more on a broader level, what is the vision, and so thank you so much. Yes, it has responded to my question.
Thank you, Jamila. And also you can see some links in the chat box for more detailed information on our activities and also on the recovery as such. And
Sure.
yeah, so I think that yeah, we are exactly just on time. It's 90 minutes has just passed. I hope that we provided you with enough information on this our important ESER initiative, on this community building, our European recipe. I would like to use this opportunity to thank to our excellent speakers, our proactive ESER members, because I have to say it's a real pleasure to collaborate with you. And without you, since for us co-construction of EU policies in the field of social economy is absolutely crucial. So without you, it would not be the case. So we are very happy to have you, that we can collaborate with you. We will for sure organize this concluding ESER event early in December, so you will be invited. And if other participants of today's session would have some additional questions, you would like to elaborate more on particular elements that have been mentioned today, please don't hesitate to come back to us. I think that Ulla, at the beginning, she also shared our email, but you can call us, we can have a chat or something like that. So yeah, once again, thank you very much. Also, big thanks to organizers for such an opportunity. And we are looking forward to our ongoing super collaboration. Thank you very much and have a very good day. Thank you and bye-bye.